everyone, XQ Crafting here. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today I'm gonna show you how to make this little Santa gnome, and I use candle glass container to make it. The little candle jar has a wood lid, but I'm gonna use the lid as the base. Actually, I'm gonna make the gnome upside, like with the candle jar upside down, because that way I can add light. And the cardboard is not really necessary. I glue it down and took it out and then decided to keep it because since I was gonna use the light, maybe it will hold the light better, but it's not necessary. You can put it the cardboard if you want to, but it's not necessary. And then I covered the jar with fleece, and I believe you can do this with felt as well, but this material is fleece, like softer. I cut it the part where I'm gonna put the head, and this is just like to fill the little hat that I'm gonna put it later. And I use glue, hot glue, to glue it down, but you can also use your sewing machine. It's gonna work fine. I actually did use the sewing machine to make the hat, because if I try to do the hat with the hot glue, for this material that I use, I cannot turn inside out. It doesn't look as good, so I end up just using my sewing machine for the hat, the red hat. But for the internal part, I just use hot glue because I'm not gonna turn inside out. It's not necessary because it's gonna be covered, so you don't need to. But again, if you have a sewing machine and you want to use that, definitely go for it. I'm just gonna use a little bit of pillow stuffing. I think it's called polyfill, to fill up. And that's the part where I decided to take the cardboard from the top, and then I was like, oh well, I already cut it, I'm just gonna put it back. So I just used the cardboard again. I'm gonna cover the top of the candle with that little head, and I'm hot glue it in place. I'm gonna show you what I used to cut the hat, and I just made like a triangle. And like I said, you can just use your sewing machine. When I cut it I cut it in a fold, so I just sew it on one side. That's why you just see sewing on one side. But again, I use my sewing machine. I didn't use hot glue. For the nose, I grabbed a little fabric that it has kind of like a brownish cream color, and I cut it a circle, use my needle with a thread to just sew it around with loose stitches. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And then I put a little bit of the pillow stuffing on it too, and I closed it. To make the arms, I cut a little piece of the fleece, and I use a pipe cleaner. Like, I measured how long I wanted it on the body, and I rolled the pipe cleaner on that little piece of fleece. The little pieces of wire hanging out, later I would just decided to cut it because I had an idea to make a hand, but it didn't work out the way I wanted, so I'm just gonna use pom-poms for the hand. And I got this pom-pom Dollar Tree, so I just cut the excess of the pipe cleaner wire, and I'm gonna hot glue the pom-pom in one end. And just a reminder that if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and sharing with your friends. hit the bell icon so you don't miss any notifications when I upload a new video. And to make the hat in a way that will fold it and stay in place, I used 2 pipe cleaners. I curled the ends together so it didn't poke the fabric. And then I just turned the hat inside out and glued the pipe cleaner along the stitched area. And for the beard, I used this fake fur. I cut it a piece that will cover almost the entire front. And I'm gonna trim it later. And the part on the top where you actually glue the beard is gonna be covered by the hat. And I covered that seam, like where the 2 parts on the candle join each other, where the fleece join. I covered that with the beard. So the clean part is to the back, and then the part that it has like a seam is on the front, covered by the beard. And I trimmed the beard. You're gonna see that later. I end up trimming a little bit more. And I measured where the nose should go and just put a dot of glue there and held it in place until it dried out. And I'll just measure where I want the arms to go. And I put a dot of hot glue, hold it in place for a little bit. Now I'm just gonna start gluing the hat down. You're gonna notice that I will add more details in the hat and arms, because at that point I didn't really know everything I want to do. So later, when I started adding things, I didn't know how to stop. So I just kept adding more and more stuff on it. So you're gonna see that later. But if you do have an idea what you need to do, just do it before you put the whole thing together. To finish it up, the hat, at this point I added a little bell at the end of the hat. And then I used my needle and thread again just to sew it, and then I gave it a few knots and cut the excess thread. Then I had like that's where everything starts now. So I had that pretty thread there, and I thought the hat and the little Santa gnome was a little bit too plain. So I decided to start adding stuff. Twisted the arm a little bit to put the part where the ends meet on the bottom so it's not visible. I repeated the same process on the other side. I added that same thread on the hat, and I started on the nose because that way I can hide the thread between the hat and the nose. And to embellish the hat, I used tiny picks that I had from Dollar Tree, and I also used a ribbon. Tied a bow on it glue it to the hat. To keep the little pigs together, since they are plastic, and I didn't want to put too much hot glue to hold that little embellishment on the hat, I tied them together with a red thread. And to add the spirit of Christmas and the winter, I glued these little snowflakes. I got these snowflakes, like 2 packages on Amazon. I also decided to hot glue that same ribbon that I made the bowl, hot glue it at the bottom, just to make look a little bit more finished. And again, I'm hiding the parts where the 2 ends meet under the beard. But I will trim the beard and that's gonna be visible, but that's not gonna look ugly. And to finish it up, I added some fairy lights that I bought Tuesday morning. But you can use any fairy lights that you have, or no use fairy lights at all. You don't need to put lights on it if you don't want to, or if you don't have it. Even without the lights, it's gonna still look cute. And that's how it looks on the dark. So that's it. I hope you liked it. I hope you tried the project. Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Thank you for watching. Bye.